Hey everyone, Szymanski back again with another video here. If you're like me and you were an Aslo customer and then you got the email saying that they were going to be shutting down, or if you're just somebody that's new to the online banking scene and looking for a really good one, what I'm going to be doing today is introducing you to Novo. If you're familiar with other online business banks, then Novo is going to be right up your alley. If not though, we'll talk about some of the reasons that you might want to try Novo as we go through this full application walkthrough and platform overview. So let's get into it. If you'd like to follow along right now as I go through this, then there'll be a link in the description as well as on the screen here. It's markjosephszymanski.com/Novo. It is an affiliate link, so if you use that, it will help support the channel, which I greatly appreciate. Please do not feel obligated to do so, but like I said, if you do, thank you so much. So once you use that link, it'll take you to Novo's main website here, and we want to click on the top right button that says Get Started. Like most online bank applications, the first thing it's going to have you do is throw in a business email and a password. And these are going to be your credentials for the account once it's opened. You can just go ahead and do that and press Get Started afterwards. The next step is a simple verification. It'll send a code to your email and you'll pop it in here and you'll press Next. Okay, so there we go. Your email is confirmed. Congratulations. A bit of warning here that they give you that they're not able to service these business types at the moment. So cryptocurrency, money services, privately owned ATMs, marijuana-related gambling, money services business. We don't do that in any of the businesses that we are working on here. So I'm just going to press Understand and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now for some personal info. So legal first name, legal middle name, last name, and citizenship. Once we have that, we can go and press Next. So now it's going to ask us to verify a phone number, and this is a very important point for some. When I spoke to a Novo rep, they actually informed me that you can use VoIP phone numbers. So that is a big plus in my book. So we can go ahead and pop any number in there and should be good to go. Same as the email here, we'll put the security code in, we'll press Next. So now it says, let's create your profile. Where do you live? And they can't accept PO boxes or post offices, things like that. So your actual home address here. And this just is tying your information that you put in the beginning, your actual name and everything, to your home address. And then, as I said, we're still in the personal info here. So just go ahead and put all that in, and then we'll hit Next. A little bit more personal information here, date of birth and your social security number. Then we can hit Next. So an interesting find here. I put that personal information in and this pop-up came up and it says, we noticed that you already have an account with us, purpose of additional account. And you could say opening a new account for a different business or other, and then you specify why. So I guess you could have more than one Novo account for the same business. That's not what we're trying to do here. We actually are opening up a new account for a different business, and then we can go hit Next there. So it's nice that it kind of says that you're already in the system and you can choose to open another one for different reasons here. Now we're on to the business info. So it's asking, what is your business type? So there's two categories, independents and freelancers, and then also small businesses and companies. I'm going to go ahead and press LLC, but you can choose whatever one suits your business. So we have some more business info here. We have legal business name, and then it says you can add the DBA after your account is open. So there's no actual line item in the application for that. So that's interesting to know. Then we have what percentage of the business you own, pretty straightforward, and where is your business registered? Now this last question is actually kind of interesting because the company that I am applying for right now is a holding company, and that's the question they're asking. So it's default no, and you would just continue, but if you click yes, so if this is something that you might have to deal with if you're trying to get a business account here for a holding company, it asks you another additional question. It says, what types of companies does this company own? And then it just asks you to describe them. So I think it's more for just more information description. I think you can probably be relatively straightforward there. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and enter all this stuff and then we'll click Next. So now we have some more business information, specifically the business address, and you can use that, or you can click to use the personal address that you already put in earlier in the application. And then the second section of this page is, do you want to order a Novo debit card? And it says a debit card will be mailed to you unless you select no. So if you click yes, then you can say where you want to, you can have it mailed and you can just put in a different address, or you can use the personal, or you can use the business. So it's nice that it gives you a lot of flexibility there. If you click no, then it just, won't ask you any of that. The one interesting thing that I will say about the debit card is you should probably just get it. The one thing that I have noticed with the first company that I've already gotten a business checking account through is it does take a little bit of time to get it. I know that I'm still waiting on mine. It's been, I believe, about like a week and a half almost. And the reason for that is just they've had an influx since Aslo has been closing, Simple is closing. So be patient if you are applying right around this time, early 2021. But if you want a Novo debit card, you can absolutely get one. So go ahead and throw all this information in there and then press next. So now for some additional business details, we have business phone. And again, this very nice feature of just using the personal phone that you entered earlier. I think most freelancers and small businesses, that might be the case. So you can just go and check that. And then your website or your social media, and it just says it'll help Novo verify your identity. So if it's Facebook or LinkedIn or, just your main website, just toss that in there. And then your EIN, which is again optional, but if you have one, I would say to obviously put that in there. And then your estimated date of establishment. So this is where we're going to be breaking out some of those, certificates of organization, stuff like that. And then, are you an Aslo account holder? That is a very interesting question. So I'm going to go ahead and press no first, and doesn't give us any options. If we do press yes, though, again, it doesn't give us any options, but I believe that kind of puts you on a different path, not necessarily in the account. I'm speculating here, so do not take this, but I believe I put yes when I did the other application, and I've gotten some interesting like campaign and marketing things, basically just saying, hey, customer of Aslo prior to Novo, here are some things that you can do in Novo that Aslo is very similar. The things were very similar here and there, and just I think they want to target Aslo customers in a sense of they want to make sure that anybody coming over from Aslo has a lot of confidence that they made the right choice. I can tell you so far, my experience with Novo has been just as good, if not better than Aslo, so I'm very happy that. But there we go. Just go ahead and put all that stuff in there, and we will press next. So now the application is going to require you to answer some questions about your business, specifically the industry, a little bit of a business pitch, the number of employees you have, and then what is your primary purpose for this bank account. And I will tell you this was the hardest part of this application for me, just trying to narrow down an industry, which is a really good problem to have because they have a lot of industries. All different things. You can kind of see here that there's agriculture, forestry, fishing, hunting, for instance, like that's a category, and then there's a bunch of industries within there. So take some time. You can search up here. That's kind of a nice feature. You can just start typing things in, but they even have like peanut farming. So that's kind of crazy, right? There's a lot of things in here. So take your time and go ahead and just try to pick the closest one, I would say. But that literally took me the longest in the first application. So, but everything else is pretty straightforward. So just go ahead and knock that out, and we'll go ahead to the next step. Oh, and one more small thing about this specifically is these may look like radio buttons that you can only click one, but you in fact can click more than one. So I would say if you're going to use this account for more than one thing, probably just select multiple. But let's move on. Now we have some more business questions specifically related to revenue and check deposit amount, things like that. And this is similar. If you were an Aslo customer, they ask the same types of questions. So estimated monthly revenue, incoming electronic transfers, check deposit amount, incoming wire transfers, outgoing electronic transfers and checks, outgoing wire transfers. Those are all just kind of estimates on what you're going to do per month. Just do your best and, kind of see what happens there. And then the last question here is, do you conduct business outside of the U.S.? So if we have no, there's no extra things. And then yes, it's going to ask you what countries and how often are your transfers made. Then also in that time frame, what is the expected total volume? So money in and money out. I do not conduct business outside of the U.S. So if you do, again, try to do your best on answering those questions. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and put all that in, and then we'll go ahead and press next. So now you need to provide your ID, and it says here, please provide a picture of your government ID that is signed, unexpired, includes your photo, a color photo, not a scan, all four corners visible, not a temporary ID, permanent resident, or passport card. But it looks like you can do a driver's license or a passport. I'm going to go ahead and put my driver's license in there. Once you click driver's license, it's going to ask you to upload the photo, standard formats, JPEG or PNG, maximum file size 10 MB. I thought this was just kind of really interesting that it has Google Drive and Dropbox integration. I don't know exactly how that works because you would think if you click that, it's going to ask you to authenticate in some manner. I just wouldn't do that. I would just download the picture and then upload it via this little plus button right here. I just found that really funny, but go ahead and do that and then press next. Now, I will say that this next page here where it says upload your business documents might be different depending on what you chose. So again, if we go back, I chose LLC, but there was sole proprietorship. I'm sure there was also, I think there was a freelancer option actually, or individual or something in that regard. But whatever you chose, if it was corporation or whatever, this page might look different. But effectively, what they're probably going to ask you to do is just upload the certificate of organization, articles of organization, whatever it is that certifies that you have a business. You need to upload that here with those same options there. And then it asks you, does your legal name appear on the document uploaded above? So does it appear on those organization documents? And if you press no, then I guess you have to do some extra things like, does your name not appear on it? Operating agreement. I guess you can, do some supporting documents. So like an operating agreement, things like that. I think for most of us, the answer is probably going to be yes. Then it also has a button down here that says cancel your application. If you just get to this point, you just decide, say, hey, screw it. But assuming you're not going to do that, go ahead and put that in there and then let's press next. So actually I take that back. We're not going to go forward just yet because I do have something that might help some people in certain circumstances. With the company that I am trying to apply for right now, what I did was early on, I made the mistake of, this is just double fun fact here for you and a tip, I made the company name Mark Joseph Szymanski LLC. Don't ever do that. Terrible idea, different story, but don't ever do that. Don't name an LLC after you. The point is, though, here, what I did was I changed the name. The name is now MJS Industries LLC. And I have two things. So I have a piece of information that's the articles of organization that doesn't have MJS Industries written on it anywhere. So I was like, that's kind of concerning. Maybe I should do something else to make it a little more straightforward here. So what I did was I put the original on there that doesn't say the actual business name. It says the former name, and I put that in this spot. And then down here, I saw that since we went over this and we saw that there's other things and supporting documents that you can provide, I just pressed no to this, and then I said certified amendment to the articles, and then I did a supporting document there that is the name change amendment. Hopefully that works. I don't see why it would be a problem. I don't know how automated the system is, but just as a forewarning to you, if that is something that affects you and that's something that you've dealt with as a business, maybe you go that route, because just giving them more information I think is probably going to hopefully help them piece it together. But now let's move on to the next step. And we're actually getting very close to the end here, so this is just a review of all the info that we have provided. If we scroll down to the bottom, we can go ahead and review everything and press the continue button. So now we just have to check a few more boxes here saying that we have read and agreed to everything. So we'll check that one, and that one there. Make sure that the information is all proper and accurate. And then the last question we have is, have you been notified by the IRS that you are subject to backup withholding? Hopefully not. I'll keep the no press, but let's just see what yes is. Doesn't give us anything else, but it is a no for us. So that is good. And then we click the very nice apply button. Okay, awesome. They have our application. So I really like this get started, apply, under review, account ready, kind of get the status going there. And then it gives you an expected timeline. So it says, hey, Mark, thank you for applying. We'll reach out to you within 1 or 2 business days. So that's great. You could still cancel your application if you want to. And I believe you can come back to this at any time if you just log in via Novo with those credentials that you put in at first. That's the beauty of this, is that you literally can't even start the application process before you have an account. So that is one nice thing. And so look forward to an email, and we'll just pop over to the other account that I had, and I'll kind of run through what it's going to look like when this application gets submitted, and then we'll pop into part 2 of this video, which is the actual platform itself. So most likely this will be the first email that you get from Novo, and it'll say, nice, Mark, we've got your application. Thanks for telling us about your business and everything like that. So what's next? In the meantime, just sit back, relax, and they will reach out to you. So you get that one. That's great. Everything went through. Let's see what the next things that happen given my last account that I signed up for. Like I mentioned earlier with that one question about, are you an ASLO customer or are you formerly an ASLO account holder? This is probably going to depend. I'm assuming the welcome email might shift depending on how you answer that question and other things depending on how their campaign is running. So this is switching to Novo from Aslo, and the subject of this is welcome to Novo. So this is probably the welcome email. I was looking back and I couldn't really see too much else. So this is it here. It gives you some information. It says activate your Novo account in 3 easy steps. Download the app, which they have it for Android and iOS. So that's terrific. Deposit at least $50 to unlock the full power of Novo, which isn't a minimum balance. So that's totally cool. But you can do that, and then you can do things like all sorts of different stuff. And it does give you some interesting tips in here. So this is really interesting. I'm going to read this real quick. If you are transferring a balance of greater than $250 from Aslo to Novo, so let's say you get in there and you want to transfer the whole account balance over from Aslo, they recommend plugging your new Novo account and routing numbers into the Aslo app and sending money that way. So rather than going into Novo and putting your and pulling the money essentially out of Aslo, if you will, push the money, initiate the transfer over on Aslo and push it to Novo. I think that is, they kind of say in here, it's just, it'll avoid limits and things like that. So that is a better way. I think it might be a little faster, or at least be the fastest that it can be. So that's good to know. And then number 3 here, start enjoying everything about Novo, the checking account, everything it has to offer, and you can connect all sorts of stuff. So this is pretty much it. Like I said, as far as the things that you get in the application process and right up until you are able to access it, last thing it says is your debit card will be coming. Be patient on that because, again, they have an influx of people. So, but you can still use the whole account. You can still pay people. You can do all that. And now let's go into the actual web portal and see what we're looking at as far as the platform. Okay, so here it is, the Novo platform. We're going to go through everything on here, just one screen at a time. What I will say, just kind of, off the bat when you look at it, if we compare it to Aslo, because that's what I know, that's probably what most of you know, it is a little different. I actually think it's a little more straightforward. Aslo wasn't like an extremely complex thing, but I do kind of appreciate just the simplicity of everything right on the side here, this kind of interesting block layout structure. You can have mixed feelings about it. I wish, and maybe this is something I can bring up to people, at Novo, if you could make these almost like widgets. I'm not sure. We'll find out if you can change these around and pull things off here that you don't need. That might be a cool feature in the later iterations of the platform. And while we're here, and while I bring that to your attention, if you see something in this video that you like and don't like, or if you get the Novo platform and you experience something, you want to provide feedback, I do have a direct line basically to the representatives at Novo, and they are always looking for ways to improve the customer experience. So please put those in the comments and let me know directly, whatever, and I will shoot that over to them, because I want everybody that is on this platform to have a great experience, because I'm very excited that we found such a great replacement to Aslo, and so fast too. That was fantastic. So without further ado on that, let's get into everything that this platform here, specifically the web UI, has to offer. So we're going to be very straightforward and go straight from top to bottom on the sides and everything like that. The first thing I want to cover is just a very simplistic header. I do like that, the little Novo account there, just to bring you back to the dashboard. And then up here, you have welcome back, Mark Szymanski, or your name, and then change password and logout. So that's the only things you can do up there. That's cool. That's very simplistic. I like it. On the dashboard page itself, like we mentioned, there's kind of these little widgets which may or may not be customizable at a later date. We have your balances, so everything that's available now, and then your overall balance. So there might be some discrepancies there as you move money, things like that. I know banks tend to do that. I don't know exactly what Novo's policy is, but as you move money, you might have a little bit of a different here, and transactions and everything. Gives you your nice little snapshot here as well for January, money in, money out. Then if we move over here to recent activity, you see all of your different transactions. I just have the one so far. That was an ACH from Aslo into Novo, just as a little test there, $100. I believe that came in a few days. I know they're working on trying to get every bank really, but specifically Novo as well, is trying to get ACH to be as fast as possible. I'm not exactly sure on what you can do to make it as fast as you can, but it's never a long period of time. I believe that one was probably 3 days, maybe 4 days. Not 100% sure. I'd have to check back, but specifically, like I said, just like that, Aslo to Novo, $100 there. Down here, we have another notification. You've received $100 so far this month. Keeping track of that. I like the little budgeting tools, the little income, cash flow stuff. That's always good to see. Make a payment, so you can add payees, Aslo checking. And the one thing that I'm going to mention right here is because I've seen it in a couple places already. These are links out to the recent activity, to a little more information on make a payment, stuff like that. We'll go over all that because this is the dashboard. There's probably going to be other things in here like make a payment activity. So we'll go over all that, but just for these widgets here, that's where we're at. If we slide down a little bit, it gives you an option to fund your Novo account directly through here, and you can select a bank account and enter the amount, and then you can review, and you can do it right here. You can also do it everything through here. Again, generally, the dashboard is going to cover things on the side, but we'll take a deeper look. Your Novo card status. So as I mentioned, the debit card for Novo, it's taking a little bit longer, influx, be patient, but it gives you an estimated delivery date of February 3rd, and it is a pretty nice card. You gotta love a black card like that. So there we go. So if we move down here, there's some more features and integrations. If you're familiar with Aslo, again, specifically, they had something called envelopes, and that was just basically a way to, I think they gave you more with Aslo Pro or whatever the other service was, but basically it's within your checking account, you can kind of set money aside into different envelopes, and in this case, Novo has the same thing. It's just called reserve, so it's fantastic. You can add a reserve. We'll go through some of that again, like I said, and it's a cool little feature that you can use to separate out, money for different reasons. Awesome. Get rewards for using your Novo card. That is next level. This is just a sneak peek here with all this sort of stuff. See your Shopify finances in Novo. You can connect Shopify. I don't have Shopify, so we're not gonna be able to completely do that. But if we click on this, it's going to give us the option to just put in your Shopify URL, and then I'm sure it's going to say, some more identification and verification, authentication, all that sort of stuff. But then I'm assuming, and I can get some more information on this for anybody that wants to know, that you can see your Shopify information directly on your Novo dashboard. I would call that a personal preference type of thing. I'm not necessarily sure if I'd want to see it directly on here, but nevertheless, I am all for integration, so that is awesome. And then similarly down here with Stripe, you can press connect to Stripe, and it looks like it'll take you to Stripe, and it'll go through the entire Stripe process to connect the two, and I'm sure you can see that on there. That might be a little bit more interesting because I do have a Stripe account or two that we could use, not for this business specifically, but again, integration, always a huge plus. So that pretty much sums up the dashboard. If we move over to the left-hand side here where all the navigation is, on the very bottom, you can see the routing number. So there's a Novo routing number, and then you can click to see your account number. That's nice that it's right there and it's not hard to get to. Sometimes these companies and these banks make it so difficult. I really appreciate that feature. Let's click into activity. So not much data here right now because the account is brand new, but we do have a couple different options. We can press all, we can press income, and we can press spending, and it gives us all the transactions that we would have. You can filter by duration, so for instance past month, current quarter, or you can pick a date range and you can do all that sort of stuff. You can search for a specific transaction, and you can also download the entire thing that you're viewing to a CSV. So all very good utility stuff here. Back over the navigation, let's do make a payment. So make a payments are always interesting with these online banks because in other circumstances, you wouldn't be able to send paper checks, but I know that for a fact, you can actually buy a checkbook. So you can just go to Deluxe or Vistaprint, and you can use the information that Novo gives in their knowledge base to purchase a checkbook and just do all that. But the cool option that they do give you is make an electronic payment just straight through here, straight through their interface. So if it's in the US, you can come in here, you can press select a payee from your payee list. You can add payee. We'll look at that here for a second. So if you press add payee, there's electronic transfer or paper check, and you just put in the information, and then you're able to pay them, just via the interface here. If we go back to make a payment, like I was saying, in the US, you can select the payee, you select the amount, you review it, and boom, you're good to go. The one caveat to that is internationally, you have to do that through the app, but again, that's not really a problem because it is on iOS and Google Play. So that pretty much takes care of the payments there. Let's go to Fund Novo. So this is pretty much the exact opposite. You can go in here and you can select a bank account that you've already linked, or you can link a new one via Plaid. So you just put in your credentials from Aslo, for instance, let's say, and then that account is linked. You select a bank account, you put in how much money you want, review, boom, then that initiates the transfer. Very simplistic approach to this. honestly, like I said, I'm loving it to this point. Account info. This is where you see all the information that you put in during your application process. So you have personal info and business info. You can edit some of it. And this is where you would enter that DBA that we couldn't enter during the application process right here under the business info side. I want to hit on a couple cool things up at the top right here. So the first one is a bank letter. And if you click that, you're able to download some of this information that you might need to use for some reason. If you need to prove that the account is yours for whatever reason, this, that, or the other thing, you can do that. That is really cool. It's certified by Novo there. And then the other thing is users. Now, I don't think there's a way to add users right now, but there may be in the future, which is just another great tool to have in the arsenal of your business checking account. If you have more than one person that you want to access stuff, you'll be able to manage who can do what, things like that. I think that's potentially on the horizon, given that button. I do not know, and I do not think there is a way to add users just yet, but always something to look forward to. Let's go to our next option here, Novo card. We see those details from the dashboard echoed here. The card has been shipped, estimated delivery. Once you get it, there's activation instructions for you and everything like that. You can report your card lost or stolen, change your debit PIN, all that good stuff. One cool thing as well on the bottom is they actually give you the option to create a travel notice. You can click on this. You can say what country you're going to be in. That is really cool. And then the start date and end date. So I guess if you do use your card in those countries during those dates, you won't have to deal with any sort of fraud or anything like that. That's pretty cool. Our next option here is statements, and there's none here, again, because this account is very new, but you'll be able to view them here. I assume download them, all of that good stuff. Let's go ahead and click on perks. Now, this is one of those features that I feel like really sets Novo apart. And I'm not sure if I'm going to really use it to its fullest extent, but I know that some people absolutely will. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. So perks. Booking.com, 6% cash back on all trips when you pay with your Novo debit card. So if your business uses travel a lot, booking hotels, business trips, stuff like that, you can save 6% if you just use your business checking debit card. That is awesome in my opinion. So there's a lot of other ones here, and you can see that there's a lock next to some of them. And let's see what this means. Key to unlock, spend $50 on your Novo debit card to unlock all locked discounts on the tools that you use to run and grow your business. So apparently if you just use, your debit card just for $50, then you unlock all these other ones. They're all the same key to unlock. But let's try to take a sneak peek here. So like Google Cloud, it says $3,000 in Google Cloud credits. That's crazy. Okay, Intuit QuickBooks, I have that. 40% discount on your first 6 months of any QuickBooks Online package. Gusto, HubSpot, Segment, Zendesk, Google Ads, GoDaddy, Salesforce, Homebase, Snapchat. A lot of good stuff here. I'm assuming that they're only going to continue to get more as they continue to grow their partnerships with these brands. This is very exciting, truthfully. You can get credit card rewards and things like that, but when you get it tied into your actual checking account as well, you're going to pay for some of this stuff anyway, right? So pretty cool stuff we got here. Let's move on now to integrations. We saw a couple of these earlier on the dashboard like Shopify and Stripe, but we can also see QuickBooks, Xero, Zapier, and Slack. Now, if you're somebody like me that is into kind of the technical side of things too, Zapier and Slack, I don't use those too often, but I know how powerful they can be. And especially if you're running like a SaaS business, you might really have some cool automation and communication things that you can do with those. So that's super exciting. And if you use Xero or QuickBooks for accounting, you're covered there too. So a lot of good integrations, and I know that they're working on a ton more. So very excited to see where this goes as well. Let's jump on down to reserves now. So again, very simple yet useful concept. You can name the reserve, you can add a description, you can put the funds in there, and then they'll be set aside into this reserve just so you can save for certain things and kind of, divvy up your money that's already in your checking account. Very cool. Go ahead and press create reserve when you're ready to do that. And that is just an awesome feature all around. Let's move on to the last navigation item here, invoices. So what we'll see at first is you don't have any invoices yet. Let's go ahead and press create an invoice. So this is pretty nifty for the people that like to use this. If you like to invoice directly from your online business bank, you can do so. You can put in first name, last name, email, the invoice details, the billable terms, all that sort of stuff. And then the payment options is where it really gets interesting. You can do electronic transfer, so ACH, and directly to the account, or you can do credit card and debit card via Stripe. So if you have a Stripe account, like we saw in the integrations, you can connect Stripe, and then boom, you're ready to go. That is very cool, especially if you don't use something like QuickBooks or another service already to do your invoicing. If you want to keep it all under one roof and you want to get the Novo account and you want to be maybe able to do the invoicing directly from here, that is something that you can absolutely do. Well, everyone, that pretty much covers it. We have looked at how to apply to ASLO. We have looked at what the application process and the kind of interim there looks like, debit card, all that sort of stuff, the entire platform overview, and kind of everything in between. So just as some final thoughts, as a former ASLO customer and now a turned Novo customer, I'm very happy with the platform so far. I kind of gave a lot of the stuff that I had experienced so far in that little platform overview as we walk through everything. But at the end of the day, it's just simple. Everything just works, and it's everything that I kind of want out of a platform with no fees, no minimum balances, none of that sort of stuff, and great technology. We didn't cover the app today, but it's the same thing. It's an extension of the web platform, maybe one or two things that are kind of more extensive, like we saw with some of the payments to international, stuff like that. But it's only going to continue to get better too, which is just a huge upside that I see. So truthfully, I think it really comes down to personal preference in some ways. There are certain things that if you're transferring from a non-online bank, more traditional like a PNC or Chase, you're not going to have physical branches. You're not going to have people that you can just like kind of walk into, a location and talk to. But there is support. There's a huge knowledge base for Novo. If you deal a lot in cash, it might not be the best for you, although you can deposit money orders, which is something that you could not do at ASLO. That is very interesting and definitely a bonus here. But if those things work for you, I think it's a no-brainer. I have 2 accounts on the platform to this point, and I'm going to have 5 total, so I would not recommend it if I did not believe in it. So if you're thinking about trying out Novo and you want to support the channel, everything we're doing here, the link is in the description and on the screen here, markjoszymanski.com/Novo. Please do not feel obligated to do so, but if you do, I greatly appreciate it. All that being said, guys, if you got some value out of this, go ahead and smash the like button for me, hit subscribe, and if you have any questions at all about Novo, the platform, feedback, any of that, please comment down below. I will answer everybody's comments, and if there is any feedback, like I said, I will forward that to Novo. Let me know about your experience. I'd love to hear about it. I'm trying to build a community with all this sort of stuff, so that's kind of the mission we're on. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I really hope it helped, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.